Are you a L.I.V.E teacher? L.I.V.E teachers not only think outside of the box, they break the box. Like that. Are you a L.I.V.E teacher? A L.I.V.E teacher is someone who never stops learning.
We know that highly efficacious, efficient, and effective educators expect their students to succeed.
Yes, y'all.
L.I.V.E, highly efficacious, effective, and efficient educators, is a series of 22 live lessons that focus on different areas of teacher efficacy, advocacy, and support.
L.I.V.E teacher brings fun to the classroom.
L.I.V.E teachers bring excitement to the classroom.
They welcome change into their classroom. They are masters of the subject and the content that they teach. And most importantly, they never stop learning. So again, I ask, are you a L.I.V.E teacher?
We're excited that you can join us and stay tuned for our upcoming L.I.V.E lessons, and we look forward to learning and growing with you. Thank you.
Yeah, come on. I like that, y'all. The H, the E, the H, the E. The H, the E, the H, the E. I like that. The H, the E, the H, H, E. Yeah. Yes, y'all.
Hey everybody, welcome to another summer session of L.I.V.E. We're excited tonight. My name is Simone Wald and I bring you greetings from College Park, Maryland.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. My name is Keishla Wiley and I bring you greetings from Dallas, Texas. Nevada, tag, you're it.
Hey everybody, good evening. I'm with Keishla. I'm in Dallas, Texas. How's everybody doing? Make sure that you give us your name. Make sure you give us where you're watching us from, wherever you're viewing. Shout out to everybody in Texas.
Hello everyone. I'm Isis Span saying hello and bringing you greetings from South Carolina. How you guys doing tonight?
So guys, listen, tonight we are excited to have an amazing show. I'm going to introduce the speaker for tonight. His name is Mr. Bryant. And Mr. Bryant is, and I'm more excited about this because he's from North Carolina. Most of y'all share this every time that my home state is North Carolina. He's from Fayetteville, North Carolina, and I graduated from Fayetteville State. So shout out to all the Broncos out there. So Mr. Bryant, he is a native of Fayetteville, North Carolina, but he's an elementary educator in the state of Georgia now. He's a graduate of both Morehouse College and Duke University. So he shares love with North Carolina and with Georgia. Bryant has been in education since his graduate school days at Duke, where he served his community as a tutor through the American Reads, American Counts program. After graduation, Bryant worked as a paraprofessional in special education in the National Heritage Academics in Durham, North Carolina. So he put his Spanish studies to use. He taught Spanish K through 8 as a special class and a middle school elective. Currently, Bryant teaches 5th grade social studies in DeKalb County, Georgia. school district at Stone Mountain Elementary School. He loves to teach using technology to reach students in a new and innovative way. His future plans include receiving a doctoral degree and study the policies and the structures in education that support Black males and performing and visual arts education. So furthermore, Mr. Bryant wants to open a performing visual arts charter school for Black males in middle and high school. And Bryant, we are cheering you on. We're saying, yes, we can't wait till you do it. And so I'm going to bring Bryant to the screen.
Oh, hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am well. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
That was one of the best introductions I've ever had. So,
well, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. I'm glad to be here tonight. We are going to get our hands dirty with technology, and we're going to talk about some current issues on what's going on in America right now and how it connects to me being a social studies teacher and what that looks like when we want to tackle our standards. We want to do our best on our observations. I see my principal in the chat room, Dr. Covington. Shout out to her, my principal at Stone Mountain Elementary School. And we want to be our best so that our scholars can be their best and they can shine. So let's get started. All right. So I'm going to not use a PowerPoint tonight. I'm not going to use a Google Slides. I'm going to introduce something that is different that can help you in the classroom to gather all of your resources together instead of having spots here and spots there. A lot of us in our districts suggest and require us to use specific websites and platforms, okay? Like Verge, or it could be EdPoint. Those programs and platforms, we are required to use those in the classroom. However, you can still use other apps along with those platforms to extend your learning and to make it 21st century learning for your students. All right, so here we go. When we use Wakelet, Wakelet is like a digital wallet. I learned this from one of my fellow technology instructional coaches in Texas. So shout out to Texas, James in Texas. And so here is a Wakelet. The way you get here is, of course, wakelet.com. I'm going to scroll down so you can see exactly what this looks like. So the title is here, L.I.V.E, Teacher Live with Bryant and Bryant using tech in the classroom, Thursday, June 18th, 2020. And this is almost like a digital wallet. I'm going to leave you right there for a moment. I'm going to scroll down just a little bit so you can see everything that's in my digital teacher wallet for my students for this specific lesson. All right. And before I go forward any more, I want to take a poll. I learned this app from my principal, Dr. Covington at Stone Mountain Elementary School. This is called Mentimeter.com. So with Mentimeter, you can take a poll and you can get a lot of information and thoughts in a short period of time. Okay, so that's what we're going to do for right now. I'm going to present this. My question for all of our viewers, we got 24 people in looking live. What is one challenge that you have with technology in the classroom? If you are not a teacher, if you are a instructional coach, if you are an administrator, if you are a paraprofessional, if you are a tutor, this goes for you as well. What is one challenge that you have with technology in the classroom? So you may be the one teaching, you may be coaching others to teach, you may be administering teachers and instructional coaches, but what is one challenge that you have with technology? So go to www.menti.com and you're going to use the code 164151. Menti.com. Go to 164151. Okay. So as you are doing this poll, I'm just going to talk about all of what we're going to talk about today. As we are sitting right here, we got one coming up. We have someone that says not enough apps for kinder kids. Wow. Yes. So that's a big topic. That is a big topic. What else do we have out there in the virtual space? What is one challenge that you have with technology in the classroom? Access. Okay, so let me talk about access as more people are coming in. When we talk about access, Stone Mountain Elementary School is becoming a one-to-one school. And so that means that all of our scholars have access to at least their own Chromebook in their classroom. All districts and schools are not there yet. So it really depends on, of course, funding. It depends on your leadership in the building. And so there are a lot of things that happen, but I will bring that up as far as access, especially in this virtual academy that we are now having to navigate as educators. So not enough apps for kinder kids, access, staying current. I'm telling you, if you're not on TikTok by now, you need to get on there. Keep students engaged on the right apps. There are so many keywords there. Keep, that means to sustain. Keep students engaged. So we can, of course, as educators, we have a good definition of what engagement looks like on the right apps. Okay, so the adjectival modifier there, the right apps. As a first grade bilingual teacher, to find engaging resources for ELS. I like to teach the old school way. So this challenge is me. Outdated, that's a challenge. And then money, money, money. All right. Well, I'm going to put this in the background. I'm going to keep this and I'm going to continue to refer back to all of these responses. Thank you so very much for responding. That is helping me in our presentation for tonight. So Mentimeter.com, and this is a way for you to use this in your classroom as a pre-instructional strategy. You can use this as a hook, and many other facets of the framework of a lesson plan. All right. So let's go back to Wakelet. We just use Mentimeter. That is a free resource, Mentimeter.com. And you can go in and make a poll. I'm not going to dive too much into that right now. What I'm using right now is Wakelet. I probably said it 100 times so far now. But the framework of a lesson plan or of a lesson, we have the pre-instructional activity. And let me go back a little bit. Tonight, my presentation, even though I'm showing you a lot of things in the technological world, I am ensuring that when you leave this presentation, that you know is exactly where you can fit these apps within your lesson. Because when they use these apps, you want to be able for them to articulate and situate why they're using this app in this part of the lesson. All right, framework of a lesson, pre-instructional activity, hook, and mini lesson. The mini lesson can also follow up with the I do, the we do, and the you do. Small groups based on differentiation of formative assessments, sometimes summative assessments, depending on where you are in a unit, and actually multiple intelligences. So you can differentiate in more than one way, not just on the quantitative data, of course, as we know, but also the qualitative data. Okay. Then the part of closing the lesson with an exit ticket. What did we do? What did we learn? What did you find interesting? What questions do you have? And etc. So like I said, today's lesson is presented through the lesson plan that I gave during Black History Month in Unit 5 in Georgia on civil rights. The Georgia 5th grade standard that was covered is SS5H6, described the importance of key people, events, and developments between 1950 to 1975. And the sub standard for that, or the standard is analyze the effects of Jim Crow laws and practices. Okay, so in 5th grade, we have the opportunity to really get to the nitty gritty. Yes, that's a slang or a metaphor to say we really have a chance to approach current events, connect them to the past, and make some synthesis there, synthesize the two to make sense for today. All right, so in the Wakelet, again, this is information that I put in for my students and my audience for tonight, which is you. Okay. The way to do a Wakelet, which I want to talk about just a little bit, when you go to wakelet.com, you are able to make your own collection. As you're making your own collection, you can press a plus button really easily. This is the plus. And you can post a link, add a text, which I did right here. YouTube video, a tweet, bookmark, an image, a picture. You can upload a PDF, You can go to your Google Drive, your OneDrive for all my Microsoft 365, and Flipgrid. We will be talking about Flipgrid in a few moments. So the first part of our lesson plan, of course, we know is the pre-instruction activity, which we just did with Mentimeter. Then we move on to our mini lesson. I like videos. So of course, YouTube is a way to use technology. So within Wakelet, you can add a video by adding the plus sign, hitting YouTube, and then put in the link of the YouTube video you want to view and put in your Wakelet here in the box. And then you'll press add. Videos can be posted. But what I want to talk about is Screencastify. So if you have this in front of you tonight, you can look at Screencastify. When you press Screencastify, it is an amazing app. If you like the camera like I do, if you are a Showtime person, a performer like I am, and some of my kids are, you will love to use Screencastify. So if you press Screencastify, you will find that you have to add it as an app to your Google Chrome. So when you add it as an app, you can find that the app that is being used specifically can record you as you are given some type of lecture or mini lesson, okay? I'm going to show you the end product of one that I've done with my students. It is from another lesson, but it is still the same. This is from a major world war that we talked about in class. But this is the end product. I'm going to show just a few seconds of it, and then I'm going to show you how to do it.
All right, scholars. Welcome to the Mr. Let's Get Social Hot Topics for which is Monday, December 2nd, 2019. All right, so as you know, we were talking about World War II So
as you can see, this is me right here. The camera is recording me, but I am also using a Google Slide PowerPoint presentation on what I want my students to take away. I was trying to do a little play off of Wendy Williams' Hot Topics, so this is what I decided to do.
The longest, but it's a very important war. And so today we're going to talk about this guy. We're going to start with him. This is President Truman. So as you know, when the Allied powers attacked Iwo Jima and defeated them there, which was a location near Japan, Japan still did not surrender. You can remember Germany had already surrendered with D-Day because the Allied troops attacked Normandy, so D-Day. All right, so we won and Germany then surrendered.
I'll pause there. So Screencastify, again, allows educators to record themselves giving a lecture or some type of video along with visuals, okay? So the way that we could use Screencastify as you are adding it to your, Chrome, it looks like this symbol right here, okay? When you press that symbol, you can actually do a few things. You can record yourself using your webcam only. Okay. You can record yourself using your desktop, and you can record yourself with a browser tab. It can go back into a browser. It also will pick up your microphone from your laptop, and it will pick up your webcam. Let's try using the desktop. If I hit record, okay, you see me at the bottom of the screen. I click on my entire screen that I want to share. And here I am. Hello, students. Hello, everybody. Let's count down. And I'm on. Hello, students and scholars. We are here to learn about civil rights and our standard. I know there's a lot going on in the world, and it is specifically related to the civil rights movement in the 60s. Okay. So as you can see, as I am recording myself at the camera, I'm able to use my mouse, my cursor. I'm able to go to different videos and show and do real-time commentation. And I could do a lot of things with Screencastify. All right. So if I am done, I will come here where it says I'm recording. and I am going to stop the recording. As you can see, my cursor is also, you can see this. I am pressing down with my mouse, and this is almost like I'm in front of a huge crowd of people, and I am using the laser beam, but I am using a specific ring there, right? So I'm done recording my bit. It's going to come up one more time so that I can end the recording. Your desktop is being recorded. Auto stop is off. I could throw this away. I could delete it. I could do it again. I could pause and come back to it. And I can stop. Okay. When I stop, it's going to load up the final video. It's going to buffer. It's going to go through and load it up. And then I am able to then share it on my Wakelet or on my district appointed platform for student learning and virtual learning. Okay, so Screencastify is really cool. You can also go unlimited, and that is an upgrade. So you got to spend a little money, but it's worth the wait. Okay, it's worth it. So here is my video, and I could do a lot of things with Screencastify. All right. So if I am done, I will come here. All right. So that's the video that I just made, right? Recording. So I'll pause it. If I want to copy a shareable link, I'll press copy, of course. I can go to my platform for virtual learning, and I can copy and paste that link. So I'm going to do that so you can see me do it. It's pretty easy once you get the hang of it. What's so awesome about Screencastify is that it can be uploaded to a student Chromebook, but you also want to like be very, very observing student engagement on the laptops of the Chromebooks to ensure, it goes back to what someone else said earlier, to ensure that students are being engaged on the right apps for the right reasons. So if I press plus, then I can paste my URL here, copy and paste it, and then the video will come up. Okay, so that's the video from my Google Drive. All right, so we have talked about the pre-instructional activity. We've talked about the hook and the mini lesson. Okay, this can be used as a mini lesson. A YouTube video can be used as a mini lesson. Music can be used as a mini lesson. I like using a lot of music videos in my classroom. So it helps to bridge the gap and get students, oh, I want to learn more about that. So the technology, we want to remember that technology is not the end in itself. Technology is the means to an end. Technology is a tool in which us educators are encouraging rigor. And I know rigor can be a buzzword in education, but we want to encourage engagement. Okay, so I've talked about the pre-instruction activity. I've talked about the mini lesson and the hook. And now let's go to the time that we all love, the differentiation part. So the app that I like to use with differentiation is Flipgrid and Anchor.fm. In my lesson, when I talked about the civil rights movement and Jim Crow laws, I went to this website that is from a specific university that has a list of Jim Crow laws that were used in various states in the South. So I'm going to pull that up now. All right, so here we are, Fair State University. This is the specific website that I used in my classroom. So my instruction for my students, I paired them together and I said, okay, I want you to pick a Jim Crow law out of this bag. They couldn't see it. They were folded. When they picked it out the bag, they saw the Jim Crow law. They were amazed at some of the Jim Crow laws. For example, about interracial marriage, because a lot of my scholars were and are biracial. So they were saying, oh, wait, my parents couldn't get married back then? Wait, so I wouldn't be here if this law, I wouldn't necessarily be here. Yeah, exactly. So as they picked that Jim Crow law out the bag, which I got the Jim Crow laws from this website, I said a few things to them. The task that I wanted them to do was to reenact the Jim Crow law that was in front of you. If you look at Alabama, nurses, no person or corporation shall require any white female nurse to nurse in wards or rooms in hospitals, either public or private, in which Negro men are placed. Okay, I can say the word because I'm in an educational space. We talked about that word. We talked about some of the history of the word. And we also discussed when using the word, what type of environment and in which context am I using it to know that I am extending respect to my classmates and those that are around me in my community. So exactly for that one, nurses, they would go on to Flipgrid and they would reenact that Jim Crow law, and then they would answer a few questions about their thoughts and reflection of the Jim Crow law. So I want to introduce you to Flipgrid.
Hey, Brian.
Flipgrid, yes.
I don't want to interrupt you because you're doing such an amazing job. Can you please reshare your screen with us again, because we're missing all the goodness that you're telling us.
Oh no.
It's okay. It's okay.
Was it shared before?
It was shared before, but you went off right after Screencastify.
Thank you. That's helpful. All right, so I know where to pick up. Thank you, Simone. All right, so what I was saying is that with the website for Fair State University, I gave my students a list of Jim Crow laws that I got from their website, from the Jim Crow Museum of Racist Memorabilia, and this is a steep lesson. This was a very powerful lesson, and we got into some very great conversations. And they picked the Jim Crow law out of the bag because they were paired. And in the pair, they were to read the Jim Crow law, explain what it meant, and talk about how they felt if that Jim Crow law was still enacted for today. Okay, so they had to do some critical thinking. So when we think about rigor and we think about the Bloom's taxonomy, we're thinking synthesis. We're thinking about critical thinking skills. I'm not just having my students to regurgitate, but they're also recreating. So they're at the top. So they are recreating, and I want to make sure that I'm using the Bloom's taxonomy in a way that is an encouragement for us as educators, not to say that students are not able to hit any of those levels on Bloom's taxonomy, but to, of course, meet students where they are in differentiation so that they can be creative and think outside the box. Okay? So, like I was saying, is Flipgrid. So Flipgrid is an interesting tool because it allows students who are not, and I repeat, who are not as vocal in the classroom to come alive. I have seen students in my classroom who won't talk, but when they're on Jim Crow, they can talk for hours and days, and I have to put a time limit to say, okay, you can only speak 2 minutes. Okay, so let me go back to the Wakelet before I confuse myself. I'm seeing some of the comments, so awesome that you all are enjoying this content. So if I go to Flipgrid, I want to create this Flipgrid. Okay, so I'm going to flipgrid.com. I'm going to show you how to create a Flipgrid. It is free, of course, for educators. And when you go into Flipgrid, you have to do a few things. Okay, so if I were to add a new Flipgrid, it brings me to this home page here. Okay, and I can add a new grid. I can say that this grid or this topic, because you can have a grid and then many topics in it. So you want to think kind of a broad spectrum. So I know that my standard is about the civil rights movement from the events from 1950 to 1975. Remember, even with technology, we want to make sure that we are continuing to use the language of the standard, because sometimes when we use technology can be synonymous to social media and being social and just using that vernacular. But if we want our students to continue to use the vocabulary of the standard and the unit, we must also try to make sure that same language is consistent even in technology. Okay, so my grid, I'm entitling it Civil Rights 1950 to 1975. I have some options here. I can do school email. I can, so my students, they can sign in through using an email. I could use student ID. Students can sign in using their ID. And yes, Rosalind, yes, it's so cool. And educator learning community. So if you have a PLC, in your staff meetings, if you want to do this, this isn't a perfect thing, but for the classroom sake, you'll probably do school email or student ID. I want some of us to do some videos tonight. So I'm going to do the educator learning community, and I'm going to hit next because they have a flip code here. So I could create one. It says leave blank for a random code. That's okay, because I just probably messed it up. So we'll do next. We'll press next. I don't want to add a password. Okay. So if you have the flip grid code, you can join and view videos. Okay. You have to have a Microsoft or Google account, but I can change that. So I'm going to hit next. And we are ready. Our students are going to be ready to do those videos, those reenactments, those dramas in the classroom. So when we talk about the logistics of this, Flipgrid also sells little tents. They're green tents that come down, and students can go put a desk inside the green tent with their Chromebook, and they can kind of be one-on-one with the camera as they do their work. So when I talk about logistics, when we talk about small groups, I usually have a lot going on. So I have a group that is doing vocabulary. Then I have a group over here that is doing Flipgrid. But they'll say, Mr. Bryant, I can't hear. They're too loud. They're too loud. And I know my administration has said there's no students in the hallway. So that scraps that. So you have to be very creative on when and how you use Flipgrid, because the noise level and the behavior expectations, this can be a part of your behavior management as well. Flipgrid can encourage that, because if you're saying, okay, one group is too loud, the expectation right now, can someone explain that to me? And with that standard of expectation of behavior and I guess classroom etiquette and conduct, it can encourage students to say, okay, I want to respect them that are doing the Flipgrid because I want to go there as well. Okay, so I want to go to my grid. And now, as the creator of this grid, do you audit student videos before publishing them? Yes, there is an option that you can do that with. There is an option you can do that with. So I can go back and kind of share that, because that is very important. When students have their videos up, students will automatically go and comment. They will be commenting on the content, or they'll be just off task, but still doing the app. So it still goes back to that behavior management piece. To make sure that people are there. Now, when we talk about kindergarten, I remember there was a challenge about kindergarten. Kindergartners, if you with all students from P5, especially 3, 4, 5, they should be autonomously doing this on their own. Grades K, 1, and 2 is going to take some coaching, and it may take the instructor and the educator, the teacher, to set it up so that students can do that and coach them. When we talk about technology, I usually like to use at least 2 to 3 apps so that my students can grow to know that app over time, and I'll use it continuously throughout time so that we can solidify what the norms are for that application, and I can ensure that all my students have a good understanding of how to use the app. So I hope that kind of talks to the challenge of the group from pre-kindergarten to 2nd grade to my 3rd to 5th graders. Okay, if you're using this in high school, of course, those students in middle school and high school, they're able to do it because they know how to work throughout the internet and virtual as an instructional context. But for the younger grades, it's going to take a little bit more work and a little bit pre-thought. It's not that it can't be done, it can be done. Okay. Yes, it is also for ELLs, because they will be able to take their time and not feel conscious of speaking English and trying to do the work that ELL teachers are requiring them to do when it comes to language, reading, understanding, and listening. Okay, great. So if I go into my Flipgrid, yes, if I go into my Flipgrid, I could go down and I can create one. Okay, so I have one response. Simone came on in and she did her video. Let's see what she came up with.
They will be commenting on the
Well, I didn't actually look at some laws, but I think you're doing a great job with this presentation.
But still doing so it still goes back to that behavior.
Yeah. All right, Simone. Thank you for that compliment. So she went in, as you can see, it was real easy. Real easy. So by that time, let me move back just a little bit. My time is almost up because I have to stop in a few minutes. I was able to get through all of this, but hopefully Flipgrid, Wakelet, and Screencastify you'll be able to use that in your classrooms. I want to finish this, and I'm going to say my last words for tonight. So if I go to this, this is my Flipgrid. If I go to actions, I can edit a topic. I can record a response myself. I can add topic guests. I can add to the Disco library. So the Disco library is a collection of videos that I'm really liking and I want to collect them. It's almost like a mixtape, but hide topic. I can hide it. It's going to sleep. I can move this topic out. I could duplicate it. Is there an access code to Flipgrid? There is. So there's a link for it. So not necessarily access code. If you give the link and paste it, you can go ahead and work inside of it, but not necessarily a code itself. Okay, I can export some of this data out, and I can delete the topic. I want to make sure my screen is still sharing. Yep, it is. Okay. All right. So as you can see, I am the king of tabs. So we are here with Flipgrid still. Okay. I heard the question about someone asking, can you kind of pre-screen them? You can keep them pre-screened. I want to go back into edit topic. Video moderation. So here, new videos will be hidden. Yes, king of tabs. New videos will be hidden from students until you activate them. Previously submitted videos will remain active. Okay, so I could turn that on. And what that would allow me to do as the owner, I could go in and view them, pre-screen them, and see. So Isis has done a video. Let's see her video. It's 5 seconds long.
Okay. So I have one response.
Great job, Isis. Great job. So let's look at this for a second, and then I'm going to close out. I can feature this response. I can spark the video. So sparking this video will create a topic using the student's video as the topic resource. You'll be able to edit the settings for this new topic once you select the spark. I'm not going to do that right now. And I can add the mixtape. Like I said, it's a collection of videos. I can respond and reply. So if I hit reply, I can record my reply. Isis, great job. Wow, that was incredible. So we had a problem starting recording. It's using issue with Chrome. Hey, it is what it is. So you can actually do more things with the reply. You can write the reply, you can type the reply, and you can do more. Sure, I can list these. They are in the Wakelet itself. So again, the Wakelet, if you weren't here from the beginning, the Wakelet is a digital wallet. So here's my wallet, my actual wallet. The Wakelet is to say, okay, students, here's your wallet for the day. Well, they can pull out what? Flipgrid. They can pull out a few things. So the Wakelet will have a list of those apps. Okay. I could also type them. I have one more minute, but before I end out, I want to say that student and parent involvement is critical. During virtual classroom or virtual learning throughout the coronavirus, COVID-19, I was giving students the opportunity to interview their parents on some topics. So for this topic or this standard specifically about Jim Crow laws, if students had grandparents or they had a family member that lived through that time, interviewing them. If they didn't have a family member that lived during that time, then they could interview their parents on what their thoughts about the Jim Crow laws were. Okay.
So
my time is up, but I hope all you all got something at least from this. I know that Simone and Isis have shared the Wakelet that was tonight, And there are so many resources on this Wakelet. Do not be afraid of technology. Take one app at a time. Get help. Sometimes apps have they have trainings, so you could use trainings for that. Free trainings. Go on those trainings. See what you can learn. YouTube videos. Ask your colleagues, and I'm sure that you will be successful. Thank you so much, and I hope you learned a lot tonight.
Fantastic job. Yeah, it looks like Brian is stuck, but that's okay. He'll be back.
He coming.
Can you hear us? Can you hear
Brian, if you go back out, I can see you.
It's all them tabs, brother.
Oh, he can hear us. He can hear us. Isn't that amazing?
That was so good.
When I tell you our digital wallets are full with resources, and I know if you're like me, you're ready to go cash some of these resources in, from Screencastify to Flipgrid to Minty. I mean, hey, he filled our wallets tonight, definitely, our digital wallets. And so we are grateful to Brian for that. And we're going to come, when Brian comes back, guys, we're going to move to the segment of our show, which we call BYOV, which means bring your own voice. So we want to hear from you. Drop your questions in the chat box or in the comment section. Please put your questions there. We know you have some questions for our guest panelists tonight, so we definitely want to get those questions answered, as many of them as we can, as we await for Mr. Bryant to return. But again, like I said, guys, this tonight was fantastic. Hey, I don't know about you all, but I wasn't that ready. So if you felt like it went kind of fast, and I did, it was a real fast-paced course, but it was excellent. You know, you can look at the replay anytime. Just be sure to check us out on any social media platform, DTEC-TAG, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Periscope, and on Instagram. Be sure to check us out. You can find the replay later on this evening. All right. Do we have Mr. Bryant back? One moment. All right. Well, again, okay, we'll continue to move on because until we get Mr. Bryant back, we'll go just to the next part of our show. And the next part of our show, I just kind of want to talk about, it's not that serious, you guys, sorry about that. But we're going to announce our winners. While I have your attention, we're going to announce our winners from the survey, from our drawing that we have each week. So we had a couple of winners from we had people to fill out the survey this past week, and we're going to announce those winners at this time. All right, let's see. Congratulations goes to Labata Taylor. Congratulations, Labata Taylor. Also, and our second winner is Rhonda Morgan, Texas Tag, Rhonda. So again, thank you guys. Thank you, Labata, and thank you, Rhonda, for participating. Now, how did their names get entered into that drawing, you asked? I'm glad you asked. Well, there's a survey link in the comments section. If you will just take the time to fill out that survey, and everyone who fills out that survey their name will be entered into a drawing for a Visa gift card. Visa gift cards will arrive in your email box as soon as within 24 hours. So again, we're excited about that. So you're wanting to know how do I get into that drawing? Be sure to complete that survey. In addition, we also want your feedback. We definitely would like to have your feedback. So be sure to share that with us. Don't forget to join us next week. Okay, next week we have coming up on Tuesday, June 23rd, Miss Yvette Walls. She's the teacher coach, and she's going to be talking to us about heart issues. So we're definitely looking forward to Miss Yvette coming and sharing with us. And also on Thursday, June 25th, we have Dr. Jennifer McMillan. Dr. Jennifer McMillan will be sharing with us having fun with distant learning. So again, 2 great topics next week, hard issues, having fun with distant learning. We're hoping that you join us, and we're looking forward to next week. Also, I'm going to ask the He-Live team to come on back in right now. So while we still have a little time left, guys, and let's just talk about, let's give us some feedback from the presentation today. Let's share with the viewers some what your takeaways.
Right. Oh, he's back. He's back.
Well, let's start with there, and then we'll go into taking a couple of questions from our viewers.
Okay.
Right. So amazing. I took some notes, of course. Screencastify, I loved it because I love, as a teacher, to be very animated. So that will give me the opportunity to really act like I'm on stage. And then I love how the last one that you used, it reminded me of the apps that they use now. How their friend will record a video and then they respond to that video, of course, with TikToks, like they can respond to their friends' TikTok messages. So I thought it was amazing. Definitely see how the lower grades can really get in tune with the apps as well. So I thought it was amazing.
Thank you. You said something too about the acting. We got a lot of actors.
Yeah.
We have a lot of the kids, they like to act. And so you want to give them space. Rita's theater, that's great. I do that too. Right. However, this is another way to get those actors and artists involved.
Right, that time to shine.
Yeah.
So for me, I like Flipgrid. I've did it before, but I also like it because sometimes if you don't understand what you're supposed to do, children can still use the app to get to know it, and then they can go back and apply the actual skill to it later. And so I wanted to hurry up and get on it to make my video just to show people that it was real time. Cool. Stuff that was real time relevant that we can do right now. So thank you so much. It was like really, really good.
Thank you for y'all were on it with those videos. I was like blink my eye and there was 2 videos.
Absolutely. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and take a few questions from the viewers. First question comes from Miss Rosalind Stewart, and she asked, what about Anchor?
Yes, what about Anchor? I'm so sorry I didn't have enough time. Just like a preacher, you have like, you say 10 minutes and it's like you just keep talking. But Anchor, I use Anchor in small groups. I had this conversation with Simone in our pre-conference, is that with Anchor in our multiple intelligences, you have a lot of learners who are more auditory. They learn by listening. So Anchor can be used because it's a podcast and it's free. It is a free podcast. So you can use Anchor and just record. Don't go on and on and on. Kids don't want to hear you talk all the time. Just kind of do short segments of itty bitty information to keep students synthesizing information in their heads so they'll be able to listen and then come up with a response or critically think about what's being said. So Anchor can be used. It can be and then put up on Spotify, Apple Music, all that good stuff. And students can do Anchor too.
All right, amazing. Another resource in the wallet. The wallet is continuing to overflow. I can't wait to cash some of this stuff in.
Well, I love the metaphor. I love this extended metaphor.
Let's see. Let's take another question from a viewer. Someone wants to know, how can I get my parents involved in my classroom by using technology?
Let me tell you something. You think that the kids love technology? The parents are on technology more than the kids probably. They're on Instagram. They're on Twitter. They are on Facebook. They are on TikTok. And the thing that I did was for our social studies fair, a lot of the parents, I needed them to know a lot of information about what I was expecting from this project. And our community at my school, we have a great school population, but our challenge is that we have a challenge with getting parents involved. So when I had this meeting, in-person meeting, a lot of parents did show up, but I said, maybe if I do an Instagram live meeting, will people show up? So you can use Instagram live instead of having that present meeting. And then a lot of parents were on Instagram live asking Mr. Bryant, so how does my kid get an A? So they were on there. And they were on there because it's right there in their hands. So there's really no excuse. We could talk about more about equity. We could talk about access. We could talk about things like that because a lot of parents, they may not be able to get to the school building because they're working. So the access is right there in their hand. 9 times out of 10, they have a phone.
So when we talk about being strategic and intentional and meeting your learners where they are, you just said it. You just said that, and that's great. That's awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Do we have one more question? I think we have time for one more question for you, Mr. Bryant.
Okay.
Okay, so how can students become student leaders and or teachers themselves using technology?
That's a great question. You know, a lot of our students, they are full of knowledge.
Uh-oh. Did we lose him again?
I think we...
Oh, you're frozen.
You know,
Oh, there you
Oh, you're back.
I know I'm about to say that too. I said, wow. But we have a lot of students that their self-esteem may be a little low because they're not apt. Sometimes they feel like they're not there. So the way to get students leading is through those apps like Anchor, because they can be the ones to respond to a question and record their response as if they're on a news channel. So they can add like, oh, I was there. I was one of the individuals. I was protesting and they set a dog on me. The dog was biting my mom while I was there. They can reenact that, and then you can use that as a specific mini lesson for a student who doesn't necessarily know how to maybe read, but they can act, they can sing, they can write. So using these technology platforms help students have a voice. So it's up to the teacher not to hog it all. And that's a challenge for me because I love technology. So don't hog it. Allow students to play with it.
Yeah.
We sometimes in education, we lose the element of play, what that looks like and how kids can play and learn at the same time, not play and be off task, play as far as explore.
Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic job. Oh, we have one more question. This conversation is amazing. It's great. It's pushing us. It's growing us, and it's giving us way more information than we thought we were going to get. So just thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we have a question from Ms. Chambers, and she's asking, where can we find tip sheets to review and digest all the information that you've shared?
Well, it sounds like I have a little homework. I can find tip sheets for you. I can, and I can post them in the Wakelet, and I can give you some information on how to do certain things within it. But again, like I was saying, sometimes a lot of the apps, they have like free videos on YouTube and such, and that will coach you through things.
Okay.
I want to also say this in connection to Ms. Chambers' question. When I want to repeat this, that technology is a tool. It's not an end necessarily in itself. It's a means to an end. So when we're planning our lessons, we want to be cognizant of what's the end goal in mind? How am I working from the end and back? But why am I using this tool? And when my administrators come in to observe me, they're going to look at those TECs in Georgia, whatever your standards are for teacher efficacy, which is an E, right? So when they look at how effective you are, they're not just looking for the tools that you're using. That's great because that's technology, but they're also looking at the product. Are these tools research-based and knowing that this can help a student meet a standard and a level of performance? And so that's when you have those conversations with your administrator because you want to be able to articulate that to them.
Great job. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Kudos to that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, is this the question? This is our last question?
We already did that question.
Okay, we've already done that. Again, Mr. Bryant, thank you. That concludes our segment of BYO. And so I'm going to turn it over to Simone, but thank you so much for hanging around with us.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Brian, we appreciate you so much. You were very engaging with us tonight. You shared a lot of great things. There was a lot of comments. So on behalf of the L.I.V.E team, we want to say thank you so much again for presenting so much energy. You know your stuff. You're passionate about it. And when I said we are grateful tonight, we are truly grateful. Yeah. You will get an email from us tomorrow with the actual certificate. So thank you again so much for being a part.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much.
I just want to thank Mr. Bryant. Mr. Bryant, I love the fact that you are a tech person, but you're also a content person, and you're also someone that focuses on culturally relevant teaching and pedagogy, at the same time infusing equity for our students and our parents. And so it's not often we can find an educator that has all of that built into one, and a man. Amen.
Yeah.
Wow.
Amen. So we want to give you kudos
Thank
for
you.
what you are doing and what you're representing. Because just by you presenting, you presented a whole lot of different things. But we want to make sure that you know that we appreciate you and we're so grateful for what you're doing for our children.
Right.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you to Dr. Cece too. I know she's not on the screen.
Right.
Oh, she's here.
Right.
Hey,
Hey, look what they said.
Best.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's humbling. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Awesome.
Again, thank you guys for joining us. We'll look forward to seeing you Tuesday, same time, same place.
Awesome. And before we head out, guys, from the He-Live Summer Series team, we want to wish everyone a happy Juneteenth. That we will be celebrating tomorrow. That was not made famous by any one man. It was made famous 155 years ago, before he was even thought about. So we celebrate the freedom and the presence and the strength of our ancestors. So happy Juneteenth in advance to our audience, everyone that's watching and celebrates that holiday. And as Keisha said, we will see you guys.
Before we go, we want to remind you, we're going to go out with our video, and the video is going to highlight the work that has happened throughout the country, specifically 6 states, including the DC, Maryland area. You will be able to see some of the actual pieces that have already been implemented throughout the country that focuses on equity, focusing on ensuring that all students have access to a quality education. Again, thank you for tonight, and we'll see you on Tuesday.
See you guys next time.
We got to fight against them, but we need numbers. We need to show up at school board meetings. We need to show up at county commissioner meetings. We need to have someone on the agenda to talk and know what they're talking about to advocate. How can you be great if you're not being better than you were tomorrow than you were yesterday? So that's the whole goal. Just to be better, to come to do knowledge, come to do awareness,